This is verse 22 of the 9th chapter, and I'm going to tell a historical event. It's a beautiful story. But let me read the verse first. It says, Ananya Chintayantumam Yejana Paryupashate Tesham Nitya Viyuktanam Yoga Kshema Bahamiyaham. He says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, which is bhakti, here he says, then meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. The Krishna is saying here that if someone is his bhakta, if they practice bhakti yoga, then Krishna says, well, whatever they need in life, the basic necessities of life, in order to be able to peacefully practice bhakti yoga, and whatever he will provide, and whatever they have, well, he'll protect that. In other words, what you need, you get, and what you have, you keep. Now, there was a great devotee who was writing a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And here, how Krishna is expressing himself, as he says, to them I carry what they lack. Carry, here in the Sanskrit word is vahami, aham. He says, I act as the vehicle to bring things to them, which is sort of a rough way of expressing something. And when this devotee read this, he really had doubts. He said, how is this possible? How is it possible that the Supreme is going to carry what I lack? He's going to carry it like a donkey carries firewood on his back, or like you pile things on top of a cart. This can't be right. This must be some interpolation. Interpolation means that people change things or write things into text, Sanskrit. And so he crossed it out. There are Vedic literature, there are sometimes, unfortunately, interpolations where translators, or rather those who were copying, because there were scribes before the printing press, they were just copied by hand. People would write something in there. Now with the Bhagavad Gita, that really doesn't happen because it's so short, 700 verses, and well, up until a few hundred years ago, practically everybody in India knew the Bhagavad Gita off by heart. So there was no question of sticking something in there. And now many educated people also do. So he doubted this, and he crossed out, and he went for his midday bath, thinking that I really got to meditate on this and try and find a better explanation and a better wording for what it is that Krishna is trying to say. Anyway, he told his wife, I'm going out, and at the same time I'm going to go try and beg some food, because as a devotee, he was very renounced, so he just lived by begging, and whatever he got, that he brought to his wife. His wife cooked it, and that's what they ate. And if they had something, they ate well, and if they didn't get anything, then they didn't eat anything at all. Anyway, he leaves. In the meantime, a little while later, this little boy comes, and he's carrying on his back all kinds of vegetables and spices and ghee and things for cooking, and he knocks on the door. The devotee's wife opens the door, and she says, "Who are you?" He says, "Oh, I'm just a carrier, I'm a servant. Your husband gave me all of these things that he begged that I should bring them to you to cook lunch." And she took this big basket off this little boy, and he said, "How's it possible that my husband loaded you up You're just such a little frail boy carrying all these things. Where did he get all of this stuff? He said, anyway, he forced me. He got a hold of me on the street, and he told me, I have to bring this to you. And she said, no, my husband forced you. My husband's such a peaceful, saintly person. Well, he may be peaceful and saintly to you, but look, and then he showed his back. He even beat me. The wife couldn't believe it. My husband beating a little innocent child like this. And he showed the scratch marks on his back. She took the basket of food and said, you come inside and I'll feed you. He says, no, 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 I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. I don't want to see your husband again. He may beat me again. His wife was really shocked, and she was really upset. She was going to give him a piece of her mind when he came home. Anyway, she started to cook and was cooking, and of course, in due course of time, the husband came back. And when the husband came back, then his wife confronted him, and all of a sudden he was met by this angry woman. And he says, why are you so upset? He says, how can you be so mean? How can you be so cruel? And he's thinking, what's going on over here? And she tells him the story, and he says, what boy? I didn't meet any boy. Well, the food that you begged. He says, but I didn't get any food today. No one gave me anything. Well, what was it that little boy brought back? He says, what little boy? What food? And then she shows him all this big stack of food, and you forced this little 8-year-old boy to carry this huge basket. He says, huge basket of what? And I forced him. He says, yes, you forced him, and I saw the marks, how you beat him on his back. And he thought, this is really, really strange. What is going on over here? And then finally something clicked with him. He says, tell me what that boy looked like. Well, he had a darkish complexion, and he was very, very beautiful, and he had long hair. And then the devotee started to get the picture, and he understood that in order to show him that Krishna was willing to actually carry the necessities of his devotee on his back, Krishna personally came and brought him the food that he needed. And what were the scratch marks? What was the marks on the child's back? Well, they were how he scratched out the words of the Bhagavad Gita, which is not different than Krishna. So then he again, well, they didn't have erasers in those days, but then he wrote back again, Vahami aham. Yes, to them I carry what they lack. So this is the wonderful thing of being a devotee. What you need, Krishna will provide. Not what you want, what you need, Krishna will provide. And what you have, Krishna will protect. And this is the relationship, personal relationship. And if one has, as it's stated here, worships me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Hare Krishna.